What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video / podcast of the Dynasty Dweebs. Thank you for all tuning in to this beautiful podcast. Hi, Jim.
Having a great day.
Are you? I didn't ask. I just
ready to
said
talk
hi.
some. I know. I'm having a great day. I'm ready to talk some lovely Pittsburgh Steelers football players.
Yes, we are. Because our last video, we covered the Cleveland Browns. I think we are going to cover a lot of teams because we're running out of stuff to talk about. So we're going to
We're almost there.
I know, man. I'm ready to get to the season, and if the season doesn't happen, then I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, I need some fantasy in my life.
If there's no football this year, Jim and I will be creating Twitch accounts and playing Madden Simulator.
No, I'll be playing Skate 4.
Oh yeah, before we get into football, I had a cool question for you about Madden. So if there's no football season, what do they do for Ultimate Team in the cards?
They just start making old legend cards, flashback cards, probably. Just like they do every year.
All right, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be maybe even more complicated than the Browns video, you could say, right?
Yeah. There's just it's different for the Steelers.
It's a lot different because we have to base this off Big Ben playing this year, which is a problem.
Nah, not a problem at all.
All right, let's look at Big Ben's stats 2018 because he got injured for basically the whole season in 2019. 2018, Big Ben played all 16 games, 452 completions off of 675 attempts, a 67% completion rating. So sexy. 5,100 passing yards, and he threw for 34 freaking touchdowns. Did you remember Big Ben was that good?
Yeah. That who was that receiver they had that was he was all right. Was it Antonio Brown?
Antonio Brown. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was not bad. And they had that guy Juju Smith-Schuster with Antonio Brown, which made Juju Smith-Schuster seem like the number one receiver in the world.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's your take on Big Ben this year? He played all 16 games in 2018. I don't like how people were just going to shit on him and say that, oh, well, he got injured last year. He's going to be terrible this year.
I mean, you could definitely see a regression. We haven't seen Big Ben without AB. Besides
You got to see him for a game and a half.
2 games. He had 2 games. So, and he obviously didn't have a great 2 games. Didn't throw any touchdowns, had a pick. But he's up there in age. He's 37 now. 37 years old, I believe.
He's in his prime.
Yeah. 38 actually. He's 38. He's 38 years old. Yeah. So a serious elbow injury, right? That kind of led to him missing.
He said he feels great. Majority. Why do people worry about it if he says he feels great? You think he's lying?
He's 38 years old and he's brittle.
They'll get him one of those little elbow,
sure.
And stuff.
Yeah. Great. So
he's still got a cannon though.
This is something where it's 2 years max probably left for Big Ben at this point. It's time for this generation of the older guys.
Well, depends how he plays this year.
I guess you're right.
If he plays lights out and they win the division, I think he's going to stay another one.
Sure, he could, but I don't really believe that to happen.
Don't you dare fade the Steelers.
2 backup quarterbacks who also played last year.
I don't even want to talk about those shit cans, to be honest with you. I don't see either of them being the guys after Big Ben. Do you? I do not.
No.
I'm not even going to give Mason Rudolph a chance.
I mean, he went 5-3 in the 8 games he started.
And I'm going to give all that credit to the defense. Sorry, Mason.
Oh, yeah. Mason didn't exactly impress any. I mean, he kind of just did a job, but he didn't do it insanely well. 13 touchdowns, 9 picks, 1,765 yards. It's whatever. Duck Hodges came in, didn't do better
He's a
than
fan
Mason.
favorite, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he is, but I don't see Mason or Hodges being the franchise quarterback after Roethlisberger's
If they're
gone.
not, Duck Hodges, you're very welcome to join the pod.
Absolutely. So Big Ben's outlook, I guess, towards next year and maybe another year beyond. He's obviously going to do better than what he did last year if he plays. That's point blank obvious. I don't think he'll be a 5,000-yard passer again with the weapons he has at his disposal.
Getting more in depth, what is he? QB low end QB1 or QB2? And what round is he going in redraft? It's got to be towards the butt end, or he might not even be getting drafted in some leagues. I mean, the thing with Big Ben is I've always loved him because I can just not draft a quarter in redraft. I can just not draft a quarterback and just pick him up whenever I feel like it. Almost it's always seemed like.
He's been a great quarterback for just getting out points. He throws a lot of touchdowns, gets a lot of yards, but you're getting to the point where, he's at the tail end of his career. It's kind of like, is he going to be like Phillip Rivers last year and throw 20-plus interceptions? Is he going to be a Drew Brees guy and still be consistent playing into his late 30s?
He's in between those two.
I agree. I don't think he's as bad as Phillip Rivers.
It's kind of Matt Ryan level-ish kind of thing going on,
I'd take Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I would too. But I'm just saying, he's
I think he would end up being I think he would be a QB2.
I compare him to Brady. Brady fantasy point stats, I guess. I mean, they're kind of Brady players.
Yeah. I'm not very excited about the Steelers offensively right now. I mean, there's a couple.
See, I'm kind of excited. Receivers. I think this team could be freaking nuts.
I think there's some interesting receivers, and everyone loves Juju, Deontay Johnson, and I'm sure there's still some people that are interested in James Washington.
So let's move on. Yeah, I was gonna say, why is Deontay Johnson so hyped if James Washington led the team in with receiving yards and he beat out Deontay by a good chunk? 50 yards.
That's a great question. Deontay didn't have a bad year, to say the least, though. I mean, 92 targets.
Deontay did beat him out in touchdowns by 2.
He had 5 touchdowns, 680 yards on 59 receptions.
How do they compare in age? Deontay
is about to turn 24 in less than 2 weeks. So
James Washington is 24 as well. Also. So I don't understand why the hype over Deontay over James Washington. Just people think that on tape he just looks a lot better. He did have more targets. He had 12 extra targets.
Yeah. James Washington had more yards per reception, and more total yards at that point. So
I'm pretty sure Ryan Switzer's done though for this receiving.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, he's the number 4 guy at best then.
And they have Chase Claypool as well. No.
Oh my God! I completely forgot about that.
So their receivers are James Washington, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Chase Claypool.
Mm-hmm. One of these guys has got to fall out of favor. I mean,
the Big Ben is in a candy shop receivers right now.
Yeah, and then he still has
Ebron as well.
McDonald.
And Eric Ebron.
Eric Ebron and Vance McDonald. Jesus fuck. No, wait, no. Is Vance McDonald still on the team actually?
I know he just got signed.
I think he is.
It appears he still is on the team. Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Oh my God, they have a bunch of guys.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, they aren't. They have guys.
I like it. I like the team.
The guys. I mean,
this receiving core could be fired in 2 years
if they keep them all together and sign receivers. You never know. It's the Steelers here. They kind of let guys go.
Yeah, if you act like a fool.
No, I mean, look at the other guys they've had.
All right, so let's look at the receiving stats. Mm-hmm. James Washington, 44 receptions, 80 targets, 735 yards, averaging So they're averaging 16 yards per reception, 3 touchdowns. His longest reception was for 79 yards. Very nice. I don't mind those stats. What do you think about James Washington?
He had a good year. I mean, the reception, like the yards per reception is really great. You hope that he just gets a higher catch percentage and he catches more of those balls, because 55% is not great.
I agree, but with what he was working with, I'll cut him some slack.
Oh, yeah. The quarterbacks he had at his disposal were not exactly top-tier quarterbacks.
They were disposable.
So you could argue that for any of these receivers, though, and just kind of put that out there, though. So I don't know. You have a bunch of young guys.
And
it's really interesting to see where Claypool will fit into this dynamic next year. And
that's what I'm saying. So Juju is obviously – Juju's number one for you still, right? Number one receiver on this team. So who's your number 2 guy on this team? It seems like a 1 flooded by 2s, which isn't always the best for the 1.
I don't know that there's a clear wide receiver 2 on this team at this point. I really don't. I think Deontay, James Washington, and Claypool are basically all kind of at that same space, if that makes sense. I really don't think there's a clear winner of the number 2 option. I mean, it could happen during the season where something evolves and then somebody takes a giant step forward, but
all right, well, I mean, also, straight up, who would you rather have, Deontay Johnson or James Washington? Dynasty.
I think it's kind of a toss-up.
I'm probably taking Deontay just because of the hype. At least I know I have value.
Yeah.
Like, everyone loves him, so if I have him, then
yeah. I mean, they're similar. They're this 5'10", 5'11", but James Washington's got 30 pounds of weight on him. I don't know, but there is another thing I do hate with rookies coming in. Like, everyone, just because they draft somebody does not mean they're going to be an immediate impact player or just become a star, because you see all these rookies just get thrown up rankings. Like, you have proven guys here that have shown production in the league, and you're just going to rank them over other players. It's tough for me to say.
Dude, you know what's really weird? That they had Dante Moncrief on this team too, and he was terrible, bro. If you ever watching the Steelers games last year with Dante Moncrief, I can read you a stats real quick. I'm pretty sure he had so many drops. There's just like, yeah, he played 5 games, 4 receptions off 15 targets.
Yikes.
For 18 yards, Jim. No tutty either. Very bad player. He's fallen off a lot.
Chase Claypool's 21 right now.
He's playing wide receiver, right? He's not the guy that they said that could be.
Are you talking about Gibson on the Redskins, or?
No, he's running back or receiver.
I think it's just a receiver.
I heard something about. No, I think you're right. He's just playing receiver.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the consensus is that Deontay is going to be the number 2 guy. So I'd rather have him. I think people believe in him more. So I think most people are going to assume.
Right, so you're going to either pay the premium for Deontay Johnson, or you get James Washington for a cheap rate, most likely.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I wouldn't go out shopping for Washington, because we really need to see what Juju does this year.
Juju's got it's make or break for Juju, man.
I don't think it is. I think it's just, will he solidify himself as a guy who's able to be the number 1 option?
He's just he's so young, man.
Juju dealt with some injuries last year too, right? Yeah, he only played 12 games. I mean, he had a pretty poor year. But,
it's bad.
Yeah. We had the 3 touchdowns. He's actually younger than Deontay.
That's what I'm saying.
And James Washington. Well, yeah. I think there's still a lot of hope for
It's
Juju
weird
to be
too.
the guy.
It's so weird that he is younger.
I believe in Juju in a sense, but it's still.
Do you think he'll
from what
finish
we saw
top
last
15
year.
this year? PPR. Let's say Big Ben stays healthy
if he gets the
year.
target share with Big Ben, I think he could be, just because he'll have.
We got to see an uptick in touchdowns too. I mean, shit, he had 3.
I'm sure he would. Yeah, I'm sure he would. He had 7 the previous 2 years, so I don't see why he couldn't be at that same mark again.
I'm excited for Chase Claypool though. I always love the receivers at the Steelers draft. They always do a good job with who they pick.
Yeah, they do end up finding gems all throughout the draft and receiver.
All right, I say we move on to the running backs.
Fun.
Another very interesting case scenario. So James Conner is on his last year of his deal, which usually means they're going to run him to the ground. James Conner is a very good running back, except he gets hurt a lot, and people were very upset with his injuries last year. Very upset.
Mm-hmm.
So he played 10 games, 116 attempts, 464 yards, averaging 4 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Not the best because of the injury. Let's look at the 2018 season real quick.
2018, I think, is kind of like he was a really good running back.
He had 12 touchdowns.
But
he had 12 touchdowns.
Exactly. That's what it is. Because he did break the 1,000.
And that's got to be that's just
for.
due to this offense not being efficient with Big Ben.
Oh yeah, and then 55 receptions for 500 yards also basically helps a lot.
So that's a question, right? Are we going to see Jalen Samuels be the guy in the receiving, or is James Conner going to try to stay a 3-down back? And I know there's been reports about Jalen Samuels getting more work or staying, in the scheme.
Yeah, reports are not always valuable. I mean, I like to go off of them because you like to think these people are giving you good inside information, but sometimes.
Oh my God!
Reports are sometimes we want to do that.
The reports, remember last year, week 3, Matt Nagy says, "We're gonna make sure Montgomery gets more work." Okay, buddy. Whatever you say.
You can.
Adam Gase says Le'Veon Bell needs to be more involved in the offense.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see it. So what's your take on Conner? We'll go from a redraft perspective. I love him in redraft this year just for the fact that he is on his last year of his deal. I don't think you're going to get him for dead cheap, man.
I think people are too scared of his injury concerns that he could fall really far in redraft.
Past the end of the 3rd, you think he'll fall?
I would expect that, yeah.
Damn, dude. I think end of 3rd, beginning of 4th, he's got really good value.
I think he would. I'm just scared to draft him in that. I feel like unless I'm getting him in the 5th, honestly, I probably wouldn't touch him. Just for me personally, and how I be concerned that he hasn't been able to.
Would you rather have James Conner or Mark Ingram in redraft?
Oh God.
Because they're 2 guys with a lot of youth behind them.
I do like the Ravens' other options a lot more than the Steelers, so I'd probably end up going with.
But that's
Conner.
what I'm saying, right? We're not so we got.
But then
Benny
again,
Snell.
but I still think Mark Ingram will remain the number 1 kind of dominant back in the Ravens offense, but there's so many other guys that could take reps.
Well, that's the same thing here, right? We got Benny Snell, Jalen Samuels, and now Anthony McFarland as well.
Yeah.
See, that's why I chose Mark Ingram, because they're 2 guys. I mean, obviously James Conner is not a veteran like similar. Mark Ingram, but they're basically the same injury-prone, old kind of. They got the same thing going on. Like Mark Ingram got hurt last year. Yeah, he got pretty banged up for the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, they could run these guys, and I think.
End of the day, James Conner, is he in your top 15 for finishing this year? in the running back position.
It really remains on him being healthy. So,
well, that's what we always assume they're going to be healthy for the whole year. If we're going to say, if you're
God, I think he could be. I'm
going to give it to him, man, because it's his last year. They're going to run him to the ground.
Unless Benny Snell takes more of a jump. I don't know.
I can't see them. I can't see them re-signing him after them drafting McFarland.
Yeah, it makes sense for Connor to get a big load this year. Ha.
Yes.
Yes. Huge load.
He will definitely have a lot of volume, and then it's going to be between Benny Snell and McFarland. I know I did that poll when very early when we started our Twitter. I believe Anthony McFarland did beat Benny Snell. You guys said that he would get the starting job before Benny Snell. And a lot of you people, I believe I did put a neither vote. A lot of people were voting for that also, that neither of them would be the guys. So this is a very big – I remember Pat McAfee was talking about how big this year is for free agents, and there's at least like 15 guys.
I think there's like 15 running backs that are on there last year.
It's crazy. So, I mean, it could be neither of these guys. They cut Connor, and they want to see something from somebody else.
Yep.
All right, so let's look at Benny Snell's stats then. He played 13 games, 108 attempts, 426 yards, averaging 3.9 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, nothing impressive. I remember last year in our redraft league, I picked up Benny Snell for the week against Arizona Cardinals. It was Matthew Berry's play of the week. We had Benny Snell versus Arizona Cardinals putting up 10 points. Absolutely troll.
Oh, man. Hey, it's not a bad flex play.
Sure. Not when you're starting him as your RB2. Well,
that I just feel bad for your running backs. Jesus Christ.
It did get pretty banged up towards the end. I also had Josh Jacobs, and he was pretty much done so. Benny Snell is 22 years old. Let's not sleep on Benny Snell too hard. Prospect from Kentucky.
Only a second year he's going into a second year in the league. I hate the fact that rookies getting drafted just ultimately means these guys that literally just had 1 year in the league are just done and they're out of the way.
Well,
it's not that realistic.
Especially not in this case because McFarland was not an early draft pick by any means.
No, he was a 4th rounder, correct?
Exactly, yeah. So around that. So no, it's they just liked what they saw from McFarland. They got him for a good value. They want someone to compete with Benny Snell when James Conner's gone after this year, which I'm pretty sure he will be. How old is he? He is 25. So actually, yeah, he'd be about done. He's done. He's had too many injuries. I'm not going to talk about Trey Edmonds, and I'm not going to talk about
no,
not worth White. Oh, Kareth White, 23 years old.
It's just there's certain rookies when they get drafted, they're going to be utilizing an offense. They're going to be big players for a team. But once you get past like the 3rd, I guess, as a given kind of estimation, these guys are, they could end up being great players, Pro Bowl, perennial, all-pro guys, or they may just be average NFL guys. Not all these guys are going to hit.
And what we see with the Steelers, though, which I do love for fantasy, is they never do committee running backs, really. It's usually that's probably because Le'Veon Bell was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember DeAndre Williams came in. He would just destroy whenever he was playing in the game. But, would you be opposed to stashing Benny Snell?
I probably wouldn't. But
you wouldn't. Well, for dynasty though, dynasty purposes.
Sure.
The 22-year-old running back on the Steelers.
Sure, he could be the guy.
He got the largest workload with Connor out.
Yeah.
Jalen Samuels.
He could be the next guy up.
14 games, 66 attempts, 175 yards. Look at his receiving. He had 47 receptions.
He's just the receiving back there.
Connor had 34, though, in 10 games.
Yeah.
Averaging 7.4 yards. That's not bad.
No, it's not. I'm not too worried about Jalen Samuels.
I'm not even.
Benny Snell is a guy you can hold on to. Yeah. Benny Snell is possibly a guy you hold on to and see next year what he does. I don't think he's going to do much for you this year. Barring injury, barring whatever. If Connor gets hurt, I think Benny Snell becomes the guy.
Jalen Samuels running the Wildcat last year at one point. He was taking snaps.
I think he threw like 5 passes or some shit.
Oh my god, sure. That was when the team had no one to play a QB. God, I love Mike Tomlin. He just figures it out. All right. Mm-hmm. So, anything else to add about these running backs? What do you think about? Nothing to say about Anthony McFarland until you see him play.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say. Realistically, I don't think any of these guys are going to be.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
The guy, I'm not exactly excited for any of these guys. Nothing really.
I think that if Connor's gone after this year, it's a draft pick or they acquire a player.
Mm-hmm. I think unless McFarland becomes this insane, like I'm not exactly betting on Benny Snell to be a beast in the NFL as well. So,
yeah,
I'm just not sold on any of these guys becoming a nice workhorse, really solid NFL player.
Yeah, I don't either. All right. Lastly, let's go over the tight ends.
Donald and Ebron.
Vance Dance McDonald played 14 games, 38 receptions, 55 targets, 273 yards, averaging 7.2 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns. Nothing impressive here.
Mm-hmm.
But Eric Ebron, I have a lot of interest in. A lot.
I don't know. I think Ebron. Well, it's not that I don't like Ebron. I had him in redraft in 2018 when he had his outlier year of 13 touchdowns with Andrew Luck. And that was a phenomenal year. But only played 11 games last year, missed a little bit. You can obviously, he literally lost half his yards there. He went from 750 to 375, and he lost 10 touchdowns. Unless he's getting towards the 13 touchdowns like he did previously, he's not exactly anything special. Right. He's just another guy.
You did mention he missed 5 games. 5 games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on a 2-year deal. I don't know. See, the problem with him on the Colts last year, in 2018, was Jack Doyle just not targeted that much, or was he hurt?
I'm not 100% sure.
Because I'm wondering if that's why he was
Doyle missed a lot of time. He only played 6 games in 2018.
Okay, see, so that's definitely why. Part of the reason why. Not to take anything away from him, but part of the reason why he had such a good season. And the 13 touchdowns really does help. So, God, who was the last tight end to thrive in Pittsburgh?
Dallas Clark. Oh wait, no, I thought you said Pittsburgh. My bad. I thought you were talking about the
Colts. No. In Pittsburgh, I don't even know, man. I can't even think of Steelers.
Google Pittsburgh Steelers tight ends.
Having a brain fart here. I remember Ladarius Green, Heath Miller.
Yeah, Heath Miller. I was gonna say. Yeah, it's got to be some.
Haven't had too much really.
Trying to find.
Jesse James was one of the most recent guys. So yeah, they haven't really had any amazing guys. They're not too big on the tight end position.
I mean, Heath Miller was pretty solid. So.
Oh yeah. So Ebron, he's the outside your top 10 tight end. It's not that hard to get in there.
Oh no, absolutely no. I don't think he's a top 10 tight end.
Top 12. Throw the man a bone.
I don't think he's a tight end 1. I don't think he is.
Tight end too. He's on your radar for a waiver wire stream.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tight end position, like technically to be a top tight end, you don't actually have to score that many points. But I think he's not exactly a main option on this team. I think he's another guy who can be a red zone target.
You're just saying that like he's a touchdown reliant tight end. He needs a touchdown to have a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough.
100%.
So would you? Last question before we end the video. Mm-hmm. Are you targeting Juju in dynasty leagues or selling Juju? Trying to pick him up or trying to buy or sell?
Well, I think buying him at this point, even after last year, he's still super expensive.
Yeah, and
I don't think you're going to be able.
Can you sell him for anything though? You can buy him, you have to pay, but can you? I mean, I'm sure there's
somebody that is interested in him and still knows that he has bags of potential. But the other thing you have to consider is what is their quarterback situation going to be like in a couple of years? Are they going to find the successor to Ben Roethlisberger? Or it's like maybe you have him for another 1 or 2 years and then you get rid of Juju. I don't know. I'm interested to see. I think it's going to be an interesting year for the Steelers and Juju specifically.
This division is interesting for a lot of. This is a very interesting year for
AFC
this division.
The AFC North is a really
Lamar
really
needs to win a playoff game so he actually gets a good contract. Baker Mayfield needs to win a playoff game.
He needs to make the playoffs.
Big Ben needs to stay healthy, and Joe Burrow just needs to play football. I mean, they got the least amount of pressure on them in this division.
Oh yeah, they're last place. I mean, you would think the number 1 pick should have all the pressure, but like,
no,
so many other good teams there that it's like
Lamar has to win a playoff game before his contract's up.
We will see.
If he wants a good contract, is what I'm saying. He'll get a contract, but he needs a win to have a nice one, like Patty Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else to add? Got any hot takes?
No. Do I have a hot take for the Steelers specifically?
Who's taking second in this division? Steelers or the Browns?
I'm going to give it to the Browns.
Damn. I'm gaking the Steelers, so.
All right. Fair enough.
Let's see. All right. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment who you think will take second place or first if you think they're going to beat the Ravens, the Steelers, or the Browns, maybe even the Bengals. Peace.
Bungles.